Wowwy'z Workshop.
Proudly brought to you by Two Brothers, One Vision. Why, hello, friends and family. Welcome back to the workshop. I am Wowie, and this is Baby Ivy Snail. Now, this is part 2 of the Makers series here we did for this one. So if you haven't watched part 1 to see how we got here, please watch that. I'll put that link down there in the basement. And you'll also see some other links down there. It's for the tools that we use for this. So you can obtain those too. And with some practice, I guarantee that you can do this too. All right? So let's continue on where we left off at the end of part 1. Ain't nothing left to it but to do it. Let's go. Okay, folks, here we go. And like I mentioned, I want to take more of that material off to really get these leaves to pop. Get some more shadow play. I'm going to do that with a Cait Extreme Flame to get the work done quick. So we're running out of time here. Baby Ivy will be in kindergarten by the time I get her nursery thing done. I'm just kidding. Well, I also want to mention that I'm running the Dremel Flex Shaft on a Dremel 3000 rotary tool. You can use the Dremel 3000, the 4000, the 4300. They all work. This is the one I got currently. And some face mask PPE with this, all hooked up to a dust collecting system. And it's time to do work. Okay, folks, now I will begin by going around all of the leaves, getting it in deep, and I'm going to use my hand here as a guide kind of, and really get that burr and work it on its side. Get that depth that I really want to achieve. The Extreme is just great for taking away that material. It gets in there and gets her done. So we can finally get this thing finished. My goodness. But with that aggressive bit comes the maker's marks. So guess what, kids? We're sanding. And we're sanding, and we're sanding. And we're sanding some more. I'll get that mandrel going. Gotta do some more sanding. Did I mention that I like a sanding? And since we're in here going deeper, we're going to do a little shell work. I'm going to get it I want it to look more three-dimensional and just deeper in there. So I'm using the Cait Fine Taper, so I won't have as much sanding afterwards. And we're just getting in there and getting some more shadow play, just a little bit more of a pop. Then we're going to move over to the original sphere here in fine. Now that's the smaller one. And I just want to get the snail's contours in his body a little bit deeper as well, so that, you know, it's more visible. I just want all that stuff to pop. Those are the fine details that really make your piece in the end. You know, ratty guys, after going deeper, well, we got lots of maker's marks now to deal with, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we doodly do. So, good friend Josh Goulet sent me up those bad boys. I was talking about them the other, I don't know if it was in this video though, so I'll say again. They're made for a drill chuck, but they just happen to fit in the old 44T Foredom handpiece for my Foredom SR motor. So we're gonna give that a little try, just to see if we'll take off some of the hard ones, so it's not as much labor for old Wowie. We just gotta clean her up again now that and then also we're gonna go in after and do undercuts for our leaves now that I'm gonna have to go deeper there too, but that's what's happening next. And now, folks, I know that I could edit all this stuff out, all of this sanding and the manual work with an E that goes into this thing, but I want you to know all the steps that I went through to get the final result. And this is the stuff that matters, you know? So now I'm going to take the Cait Fine cylinder and go around every leaf and just get their edges sharper and more pronounced. Because when I do the undercuts afterwards, I want those to look like they could pop right off. And then we're gonna give her a brushing. Yes, folks, a brushing like she's never been brushed before. we're brushing. And next comes the undercuts. So I'm gonna use the Cuts All Fine taper on its side to get up and under. You can also use a small ball carbide cutter if you wanted to, but I'm going with the Cuts All this time. So yes, as you can see, I'm getting there on its side and just pushing up and actually right behind, getting behind the leaf. And all around the snail, going around everything. You know, I could have saved a lot of time if I would have done these things right off the bat, but this has been a progression. I didn't really have a plan, so you're seeing it as she comes. And sanded, more sanded. My goodness. Now we're moving on outside. We're gonna start addressing the wood burning of the signature. What a nicer place to be than out here in the garden. And I've got it drawn on there. I hope you can read it. It says, "For Ivy, love Wowwy, two brothers, one vision." So pulling out the old razor tip SK. This is an awesome wood burner, guys. I got that and a couple of pens here ready because I don't know how the pine's gonna take the burn yet. So I'm just doing it to it. And as I go here, I'll kind of jump around and do like the long sections first with one pen and then change the pen into a finer one and do the circles and stuff, which are harder, I find, the curves. So yeah, as you can see, I've done certain lines and stuff first. Now I'm going to address these lines in this, like these, I've been saying I was going to wood burn these in the whole time, but I've decided now that it would look much better if I've carved them. So we're carving them in, guys. And we're going to use the Dremel 106, that small carbide, and just cut the lines in first. And then afterwards, we're going to go in there and clean them up, get them looking right. Because we got a new burr set to try out, guys. Because we are Cuts All affiliates. Use the link in the basement and check out all my Cuts All links and all my Amazon links, because I'm an Amazon associate as well, guys. So if you use the links, we get a little kickback for the channel. And there they are, the Cuts All Fine Detail burr set. So yes, my Cuts All link is down there. You just go through that, and then you'll be transported to this Cuts All site and make your order, place your order, and when it's checkout time, you'll get a little discount for using Wowwy'z link, and we really appreciate it. They're working great. Going where we did the undercuts and moving any maker's marks, they're awesome. Oh yes, and a little bit of sanding too. Here we are, folks, on a beautiful day outside. It is time to start the color and the final finale. I'm taking this day because the construction has stopped for today. So we have this ready. This is the hanging hardware I want to put on the back, level, so I can make the hanging hardware level. These aren't really needed today, but hey, that could be a hint on an upcoming tool talking. That's all I'll say about that. Now, aniline dye. What do I know about aniline? I don't know much about aniline dye. But you mix it with hot water, clean. So I'm going to redo it. This is the old stuff. And it's powder and plus water. And it makes, it's a nice light. And it kind of fades too. So, because we don't want these colors to be too extreme, right? So I'm going to do the grass and the leaves first. And get them done on just perfect. After I get that part done, we're going to do the final stain on the shell, and that's going to be a mixture of a traditional American minwax stain, a brown, and I also have some green tea wood stain that we're going to incorporate in little bits in there. Oh my goodness, wish me luck, guys. We're bringing her on home. Time to do it to it. All right. As for the aniline dye, there isn't. I just put a little bit. I take it out on the popsicle stick. Jesus, freaking wind! And I just stir it in there with the hot water. There's not really a directions, and yeah, if you gotta make sure you keep them in the proper envelope, because you wouldn't know. Like, look at that color. But that's what's happening. Stir it up and I kind of gauge the strength by the how much it's dye in the popsicle stick. Feel me? Okay, I gotta get the cat out of the way. She's gonna wreck this hole. Well, folks, let me tell you, I'll just be 100% honest. That wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. Oh yeah, you see on my hoodie there, Indian Larry. But that was hard, you know, especially because it's water based and water goes where it wants to go. So I had a real time, you know, keeping it right on those edges. And there's a couple little splatters, but when it's dry, I will sand off the little tiny splatter spots, because right now you don't want that powder hitting it. But whew, we're doing it. Okay, that's enough for today. I'm gonna do the back stain and the shell tomorrow. Here we are, folks. It is the next day. It is a beautiful day. And I am a man with a plan. So it is time for the Wowwy walkthrough. First, I'm gonna get this cooking. Double strength cleaning vinegar with the finest steel wool that I can buy. I'm gonna put that in here and let that start to cook in that sealed couple hours, and that'll be for the gills of the snail, okay? Next, for the snail shell, we got Early American Minwax for the brown. This is a Minwax wood stain that's actually green tea. Now, you can see it drizzle there. It's a lot like the color. This is the stir stick from our aniline dye yesterday. Sorry. It's a lot of the same color, but this will just have a different look because it's stained, it's not aniline dye. It'll probably be stronger. And then for the background, after I get that shell on there with no mistakes, the final background will be in this Ipswich pine. And I'll do that last because in case there's any bleed over or any problems with doing the snail shell. So here I got my bits, my pencils, brushes. I'm thinking on this, it's gonna be more like, I'm gonna like use these and like rub it in as opposed to like brushing it on. Like this is gonna be sort of like smudgy. Oh yes, and this is pine. This is a pine bought from the same store. So I'm gonna test all these things on this first and then do it to it. Okay. Got rags, got sandpaper on deck. We are good to go. And here, folks, is the part of the project that does not go as planned. Oh, wowie. There we go. You know when you get that little voice inside of your head and deep, deep down in your gut, you know it's right, but then you push it aside and think, well, maybe. Yeah, well, this is one of those times. And I regretted it. I should have listened. Let me explain better. See all this? This is the chaos of when the plan doesn't come together as planned. So it may look nice now. I've been out here sanding for 4 frickin' hours. 4 hours. The darker color made every single maker's mark that was there just explode. You could see every one of them. I've done my best to take everything off. Like, you can see in here that there's still some of the stain in there. Like, the stain went into every little divot, right? And so it threw the whole thing off, guys. And I swear to God, I was crying. I was crying inside yesterday when it happened. And something happened. I started right here. And as you saw, because I recorded just that little bit. And the first stroke that I put it on there and I saw its color, a voice in my head said, you should be putting it on the Snail. And I pushed that voice aside. And it was like almost like being a fucking pouty kid. And I said no, and I just kept on going. And as soon as it was done, I knew I made the wrong decision. So it's going to go on the Snail. The Snail is too light. You can see the gray worked a bit with the steel wool and vinegar. I'm going to put a little bit more in the deeper cracks so it goes a bit darker. And I'm going to put that stain on the Snail. And just lightly, because it does give it a kind of almost like a pinky hue. And then sealing it or whatever the heck I do with it, but then it's done, man. Because this has just gotten out of hand. All right, I'm sorry. I had to tell you. She is, folks, all done. I love the matte finish. It goes with the nursery just perfectly. I couldn't be more happy. It's finally done. The vision is fulfilled. What y'all think? Oh, what a ride. Wowie approved. Wowie approved. Yeah. I'm a happy Wowie, let me tell you. Been quite the mission, and you've been with me all along. There is no YouTube without you. I truly appreciate you being here, and if I can, I'm gonna get an updated picture of it all done up in Ivy's bedroom. Much love, everybody. Thanks for watching.